day of the week. Guess what day that is? You guys follow YouTube. Today is leg day. And yesterday was back, and I always said I'd take a day off after doing back, but I have to get on a flight and fly out tomorrow. I seated hamstring girls. I'm going to start with about 130 pounds. I'm going to focus on 10 or 15 reps here, guys. I'm really just trying to get the blood flow in here. And the reason I do hamstrings first is I feel a lot of the power when you train legs always comes from your glutes and hamstrings. For some reason, when I'm in a seated position, it seems to get that good stretch, and then I come down and curl. Where sometimes people like doing leg curls, one leg curls. For me, I like the seated. I'm gonna up the weight a little bit. So I'll go like 145. It's a little heavier weight. 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. It's actually 13, guys. So do a little extra just to warm up. I'm gonna go up to about 170 on this. Of course, I always have to train in shorts. You guys are training long pants. But I always like training in shorts when I do legs so I can actually see how the blood flow is coming in. Some people like to mess with their heads a little bit. They don't have as much visual of the actual body part working. But for me, I like to be able to feel it, see it, feel the pump, see the pump. You know how that goes. The gym's nice and quiet today. Beautiful day in Vegas. looks no different than it did last week when I filmed my shoulder workout. All right, last set. So it makes it a little easier when I actually do count reps, which I always say I do and I don't. I actually count in sixes, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I knock out another 6, and that will help me get to 12 a lot easier. So I'm sure you guys play a lot of mind games with yourselves sometimes. I just don't count 1 to 12 because it seems like 12 is so far away from 1. I start to get that really good burn at 6. I always said, like, when you count repetitions, you want to feel a decent little burn at 8. By 10, a good burn, and then by 12, you're like, you know what? I might be able to get 2 or 3 more, but I'm going to struggle probably to get that last 1 or 2 reps. So that's kind of how I make the judgment on the repetitions. And when I don't count, I seem to always fall between the same rep ranges. I'm gonna do 1 leg curl, and we're gonna use the Techno Gym leg curl machine. So let's move over. All right, so I'm gonna start with a plate and a quarter on this. Plate and a 10. So you notice I'm kind of locking in and just trying to get that feel. So I always talk about mind to muscle connection and how sometimes I'll pause and go up a 10. Sometimes I wonder why I love training legs so much. Oh man. I try to breathe when I train, right? Sometimes you find yourself holding your breath a little bit but that's why I think I fell in love with training, is the challenge, right? What each workout is gonna bring. You ever go to the gym, like you're driving to the gym and you're like, I plan to have the best workout ever, or you're like, man, I don't feel like training. Then you get in the gym and you get that rhythm and you're like, man, that was a great one. And I always judge the workouts by, of course, strength and pump. I mean, those are the 2 things I kind of looked at. It wasn't like who's in the gym or how loud the music was. It's always like, okay, what am I getting out of this workout? All right, guys, so stiff leg deadlifts, I'll probably cut myself out of this a little bit. So I always say stiff leg lifts, there's a little bend at the knee. I like to do dumbbells, this is my preference. I think getting barbells, getting a little heavy, you guys see me do the deadlifts for back, but stiff leg is I'm really just focused on the hamstrings, glutes. You're gonna see that a little bit here. Okay, so I'm gonna start with 65 pounds and just kind of go for that stretch. So I use the line right here, this line in the floor, and 12 reps. 2, 3, 6. 1. Now, could I do more reps? Of course. But I'm going to pyramid up a little bit in the next set. I'd love to show this. This is my tripod. So I'll do 3 sets of these, 12 reps. So I did 65, next set 75. All right, so 75, right? So I only allow myself the maximum these days I only go up to 80. And the reason being is I don't really feel that's more benefit to going that much heavier, if that makes sense. Like I said, it's not always about the weight. It's about really just getting the most out of the exercise. Like I said, I migrated to doing mostly dumbbells just for safety reasons. And that's kind of how I'm working it. So we'll do one more set and then we'll move to the next one, which I think is lunges. I'm gonna do walking lunges. So I'll be able to show that from a distance. So I don't know if you guys will be able to see it. I'll do my best. Just to show you guys, 70 pounds. Okay. I'm gonna walk all the way down. So at least like 10 steps a leg. This is great for your glutes and hams. And the last piece right here. So lion leg curls. I'm feeling these really good by the time always my last movement. So I'll roll into some quads after this. Quads are a little easier for me because, like I said, genetics. I seem to always put more effort into hamstrings and keeping my body from getting that shovel ass. We're working it. All right, everyone's favorite, leg extensions. I always said this is not just a cutting movement. This is actually a movement you can build a lot of mass. So I used to do these in the beginning and at the end of my workouts. But we're gonna warm up our knees. So I have 2 plates on here. Just get that extension, get that blood flowing, especially in the upper, away from the knee. I seem to have great development no matter what around the knee. I was always developed in my teardrops, but with these, I'm not even counting reps. I'll do a couple sets of this weight and then I'll bump the weight up. Like I said, I don't want to go too heavy with this. This is more of a warm-up, protection of the knees, kind of a pre-exhaust. We're gonna go leg press after this, probably inverted leg press, some sort of a squat, kind of take it from there. That might be it actually, just because I don't go crazy burning the legs down. I trained legs last on Saturday and today is Thursday, so you can imagine the split and repeating body parts. Like I said, every 5 to 7 days. Still the routine from the past. So 45 to 60 seconds between. Get that blood in here. And we don't hear those metal plates clanking anymore. Remember us old school guys, we used to love that. Sometimes I go to those gyms where the metal plates are still a big part of that and you hear the clanking of the weights. It's a little heavier sets here. This will be the heaviest I go. So I'll do 3 sets like this. Sometimes if I want to hit the upper thighs, I'll actually point the toes out like this as I do the movement. And then obviously like this, more toes out as you're going through the movement is going to target those upper thighs. So when people talk about having upper thigh cuts, I still think genetically you're either limited or more advanced on developing more cuts. I think that diet is going to bring that out too, but you can definitely work some more detail in. I feel like a lot of guys could still use some more detail in that area. All right, so I'm going to start with a pretty good weight here. Two plates and a quarter on each side. So there's our weight. So inverted, this is one of my favorites. Did this for the 09 comeback with Hani. I've talked about it a million times. So these guys can kind of see my depth. I want you to really see what my depth is on there. Okay, sorry about the muffled mic. All right, feet are pretty much in the middle of this platform. This is my first set. Really feeling the quads, hamstrings, glutes. I love these. Now it's good with blood flow too, because the blood goes up and down. So I'll go up to 3 plates on each side, but I always shoot for at least 12. And it's just a little different. A lot of gyms don't have this piece. This is I think it's a Nebula piece, so it might be kind of old school. But AFS used to make a really good one back in the day. Still one of my favorite movements to do. I try to do this almost every workout, and hopefully you'll go to the leg press next. There was someone on it, so I couldn't do that one next. And then we'll finish with some sort of squat. So I just mentioned I'm almost done, man. I'm getting actually kind of hungry. So I felt like today was a little more lengthy just because I was trying to set up some camera shots. That's why I hate filming sometimes. But like I said, my goal was to give you guys a little more insight. The question is, do you like the vlogging style? This is how I developed the quad stomp. So I'm gonna start with a plate here. See how this feels. So regular squat. Now, why do I do this rather than free weight? I don't know. It's just because it's new. I'm not gonna lie, I squat from my ass. So everyone knows. I see all these people doing all these butt exercises, and we never did that in the day. We just squatted, we deadlifted, we did walking lunges. We never really had to crazy isolate the glutes. They just came about with hard training. Let's do one more set of this weight and see how this feels. Before I go up a little bit. My legs are dead. So this is a good finishing movement. You notice that pause right there. Yeah.